Don't take me. Interesting.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order for the Champaign County Board. It's Thursday, September 24th, 2009. The time is 7:06. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Jay?
Here.
Jones?
Here.
Knott?
Here.
Kurtz?
Here.
Langenheim?
Here.
McGinty?
Here.
Mosier?
Here.
Nudo?
Here.
O'Connor?
Here.
Richards?
Here.
Rosales?
Here.
Sapp? Schrader?
Here.
Smucker?
Here.
Wysocki?
Here.
Ammons?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Beckett?
Here.
Benzel? Betts?
Here.
Carter? Cowart? Denitz?
Here.
Gladney? Hunt?
Here.
James?
Here.
Weibel?
Here, Mr. Benzo informed me earlier this week he would not be able to. Would you call it Langenheim?
Yes. Yes.
Ralph, are you here? For the record, Ralph Langenheim is here. I'll also point out that Mr. Benzo informed me earlier in the week he would not be able to make this meeting. Tonight's prayer, I'm sure most of you know that there are a couple of National Guard battalions who have returned from Afghanistan, so this prayer is for them. Our thoughts and prayers are with those of you who have worked hard and have been standing brave to protect the rest of us. We are grateful that there are those out there who would sacrifice as you have sacrificed to ensure the freedom of many who will never completely understand nor appreciate the importance. Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. Would the clerk read the notice of the meeting, please?
Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the County Board, Champaign County, Illinois, will convene on September 24, 2009, 7 o'clock p.m. in the Lyle Shields Meeting Room, Brookings Administrative Center, 1776 East Washington Street, Urbana, Illinois, in said county for the purpose of allowing and ordering payment of claims against the county, receiving and acting upon reports of committees and other such matters as may be brought before said meeting, which said meeting shall continue in session from day to day until the completion of said business.
Move approval of the notice.
Moved by Betts, second by Ms. Wysocki. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Seek approval of the minutes of August 20th, 2009.
Move adoption.
Moved by Mr. Betts, second by Mr. Carter. Discussion. See none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Seek approval of the agenda and the addenda.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Betts, second by Ms. Cowart. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Date and time of the next regular meeting is Tuesday, October 20th, 2009 at 7 p.m. Please note it is on Tuesday. The reason it is on Tuesday because the budget has to be on the, what's the word for it? Pardon? Available to the public for 30 days. If we had it on the meeting on Thursday, it'd only be available 29, so we'll have to move it back 2 days. Public participation. Marilyn Lindholm.
Marilyn, is this okay? I got it.
You can pull it down.
Hello. Okay. I'm from Champaign. I just wanted to put in an opinion about the county land use policies in general and the Olympian Drive extension in particular. And I read the 25-page, I thought this was a synopsis, the 25-page land use policy, Appendix 2. Whoa, I thought that would be the easy section. You know, I thought that would be the summary. Listing the land use goals and the policies, and I wanted to read it to measure the Olympian Drive extension project. And to measure it against the county board's statement of principles. Oh gosh, no! I am urging the board to consider the impact, the serious disadvantages and destruction in this road extension project compared to only the possible anticipated benefits. And I urge the board to see these consequences in light of our own land use policy principles. The Olympian extension threatens our new establishment of local food production, those small farms in that area. And this is in opposition to the stated first goal listed, page 2, quote, production by guiding overall environmental development. And the first policy listed there stating, quote, the need to preserve agricultural land, open space, reducing the need for extended road improvements and other public services. The Olympian Drive extension is in opposition to a goal and 3 stated policies, 1.2, 1.4, 1.5 in Section 1, agricultural land use. The Olympian Drive extension is in opposition to 3.4 policy under 3, commercial land use. The county board, which is, quote, the county board will not encourage major new commercial development except in the areas where services and utilities are readily available. The Olympian Drive extension is in opposition to a goal and 3 policies under Section 4, industrial land use, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. Policy 4.4 is very clear. It's the, quote, the Environmental and Land Use Committee will urge the county board to discourage new industrial development from intruding into productive agricultural areas. The Olympian Drive extension would bisect designated historical farms. It would destroy a natural open space that also acts as a corridor for migration of wildlife, and that corridor could provide a very learning environment for recreation. It's a green belt that such as those listed in Section 6 on the big document. If you're not glazing over by this repetition, and I know you know this document, I certainly am. I could only get to page 10. In 25 pages, I could only get to page 10 in the land use statement. The goals and the policies were so numerous and so contrary to the Olympian Drive extension to the proposal for the project. I think I will take the time to list and count all the possible references and send those conclusions out. I was struck in reading this 25-page appendix, supposedly the synopsis, I was struck repeatedly by the goals to preserve agricultural land, to restrict commercial land use to areas already with commercial, industrial use and utilities infrastructure, to provide and protect open land areas for space and recreation. It's repeated time and time again. I mean, I just don't know the whole amount because I only got to page 10. I also think the justification for the Olympian Drive extension is also suspect. I walk every day to work, and I walk on Neal Street, and I see at least ailing, near-dead commercial pockets up and down Neal Street. And in Champaign, we have an entire shopping center, county fair, that is just really struggling, needs serious help. I'm from Champaign, and I think we can very rightfully be proud of the change that Champaign has done. The downtown Champaign used to be a very serious dead zone, and with creativity and progressive and ingenuity, it is changed to a very interesting shoulder-to-shoulder urban center. I think that's a source of pride. And my question is, why not use that kind of ingenuity and that kind of creativity to help our in-town communities, the pockets that really need help? Why not develop the corridor from Urbana to Rantoul for light industrial? Why not develop the corridor from Champaign to Savoy? Grant money that people are soliciting would certainly be would help the effort. My last thought on this is that the county board is an encompassing body. You have to represent everybody from soup to nuts. And I urge the board to insist not only upon their land use rights in regards to the cities, but also upon their goals and policies and land use principles. Don't roll over. Just don't roll over on this. Thank you. Thank you.
Chairman,
Mr. Betts.
I don't know whether this should be a point of personal privilege or if we could suspend the rule to allow Ms. Waisaki to take 1 minute to address the question.
Why don't we suspend the rules just,
Okay, I move that we suspend the rules to permit Ms. Waisaki to make a statement regarding the county's jurisdiction or lack thereof over Olympia Drive, which is not in the county.
second by Mr. Smucker. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Waisaki.
Well, I'm very appreciative of the fact that members of the public are, in fact, reading this document, even in its draft form. But you need to realize that the proposed route for Olympia Drive is not in the county. It is within the limits of the city, or certainly in their 1.5 miles, and therefore the county, per se, does not have jurisdiction over this particular development. I think these concerns ought rightly to be raised with the respective cities of Champaign and Urbana regarding the impact on environmental aspects, historical culture, agriculture, and all of the other points that you referenced.
Ms. Waisaki, would it be fair to say that most of the unbuilt portion of Olympia Drive is in Urbana?
The
unbuilt portion?
yes,
Unbuilt.
yes.
Okay.
That seems to be the next project that I think Urbana has in mind.
Okay,
But,
thank you.
yeah.
Ms. Nora Stewart.
Good evening. My name is Nora Stewart. I am president of the ASME Local 900, which represents the employees of Champaign County. I once again stand before you to voice my concerns about the unfair treatment of the workers at the Champaign County Nursing Home. I'm sure that some of you are tired of hearing me speak at these meetings, but until you as employer of the company who has hired this administrator to do what you know in your heart is right, you will continue to see my face. I asked my supervisor to give me a count of the hours I have spent away from my job at the county clerk's office to go to the nursing home. I've spent well over 80 hours, not including the 45 hours which are paid, trying to address the daily problems that management has caused and is continuing to cause. Yesterday, I was called to the nursing home for a meeting with management regarding a young lady who was out on FMLA because of an off-the-job accident. She was told by the HR person that she had enough FMLA time to cover the additional time that she needed to be off of work, only to be told later she didn't. First of all, I would think that the person who gave her this misinformation should have been capable enough to know when she pulled this employee's records that she hadn't worked the required 1,250 hours to be eligible for FMA. The young lady literally cried and begged with management not to fire her. After begging and pleading with management, they finally agreed that she could come back to work at the end of the month as long as she had a second opinion from another doctor. Here's an employee who has never in her 21 years at the county had any type of discipline or absentee problems. I would think this is the kind of employee that would warrant management to go that little extra mile to show that they value this employee by at least checking to see what other alternatives were available to her. Then before I left the building, another problem. An employee who was retiring at the end of the month was told at 1 p.m. she had until 5 p.m. or be fired to get a doctor to rewrite a medical that would cover a day she missed from work because of a fall. This is the same woman who I brought to your attention earlier this year that management had told her when her husband had died she needed to come back to work or be terminated. Management was asked if she could have until today, Thursday, to get this done, and he said no. We stated that we didn't want this employee to go out with a bad mark on her records and was told, sorry, but we can't give her till tomorrow. But then another employee was going around the facility cursing other employees, But then there was another employee who was going around the facility cussing other employees, making obscene sexual remarks, and management was asked to do something. The reply we got, well, they're going to be retiring soon, and we don't want them to go out we want them to go out with dignity. I have here a petition signed by over 80 employees asking that something be done about the unfair treatment they are receiving from the management. I ask you, is the goal to make the nursing home an unworkable environment so that it can be sold or privatized? You've got loyal, hardworking employees that are suffering from management fatigue. And if you ask what management fatigue is, it's tired of the unfair treatment they receive on a daily basis from the nursing home management. Thank you.
Is there additional public participation? Okay, seeing none, move on to announcements. On your desk, you have a yellow sheet. This is announcements about the Champaign County Employee Recognition Weeks, which begin after the next county board meeting, but there's also should be a sign-up sheet going around that we would ask you to sign up to participate in this. Ms. Anderson.
Would like to share a couple of things with you. I've put a couple of things on your desk. The first is a brochure that looks like this. The Mental Health Board and the Disability Board has been planning their third annual Disability Resource Expo that will be held at Lincoln Square Village in Urbana on Saturday, October 17th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There are 65 exhibitors, we were told as of Tuesday, who have confirmed, and they will be representing a variety of services and resources to persons with disabilities in Champaign County. And in addition to all of the displays, there will be a lot of activities, games for children and people of all ages, and other entertainment, but it's all listed in here. And it's an exciting time. Last year, I think, build upon the first year, and this year seems even more exciting. And I hope that you might share that with others that you think might benefit from attending this resource. And then I have another thing I'd like to share. Today, I went Ray when I read my email with some wonderful news. Those of you who serve on Justice, Social Services, and other members of this county board have heard us talk about the Mental Health Board coordinating an effort to get a grant for Champaign County. This would be a federal grant. They would provide services to youth and families. And this was the third attempt. And Tuesday at the Mental Health Board, we really didn't know whether we had received it, but today the word came that Champaign County will receive this grant. It will come from the feds through the state and will mean $9 million coming to Champaign County over a 3-year period. A lot of people have, from the various agencies, have worked very hard to get this, and I just think this is wonderful news to share. And Peter Tracy is here, the director of the Mental Health Board, and if we again could take just a moment, I wish that he might be able to share just a little bit more about the grant.
Peter?
Finally, some good news. We've tried for a long time to get this. This is, as Jan said, $9 million for over 6 years. Yeah, and 3 years would be better, but 6 years is still good. This is a partnership between community agencies and the University of Illinois, the Department of Psychology. They are going to be responsible for evaluating this project, and there's significant money, roughly $200,000 a year, will go to the University of Illinois to do an evaluation, both a local evaluation and a national evaluation. This is a highly competitive grant. There are only 17 that are awarded in the country. And so we feel very proud that we were able to put this application together, and the focus is on kids in the juvenile justice system and their families, and it'll be an expansion of things that we're currently doing with the Parenting with Love and Limits, which is the evidence-based practice that we've been working on and implementing. It's done in collaboration with the state's attorney, with court services, with the juvenile detention center, with schools, and we're very excited. So. Okay.
Other announcements, Mr. Beckett.
Thank you. First of all, at each board member's table tonight, our desk tonight is a card from the Citizens Committee to restore the clock and bell tower. And Kennedy's has joined with us to have a fundraiser next Monday and next Wednesday. And if you present this card and have dinner, then we get 10% of the proceeds donated to the tower project. And I want to announce that since at our last meeting when Jim and Leslie Leoto were here and indicated that they would match up to $100,000 to any donations that we had received. Of course, we know we got $19,000 from the city of Urbana. They were kind enough to give money. We got $16,000 from Ken Ressler. Today I brought checks in from the East Central Illinois Building Trades Council, and I've got commitments from the Brick Masons and the AFL-CIO for another $1,000. And I just touched base with Deb, and that puts the Citizens Committee at in excess of $1 million without the match. And so we still have a few weeks later. Weeks to go. I want to acknowledge Mr. O'Connor and Mr. Mosier, who both have made personal donations to the tower project themselves. I appreciate their commitment to it as well, and I thank everyone, and I hope the citizens will rally and we'll meet our goal. Thank you.
Ms. Wysocki.
At your desk, you also have a green sheet that reminds board members and certainly the public that next Wednesday evening, September the 30th at 7 o'clock at the Tony Noel Technology Building on the campus of Parkland College, there's to be another in a series of discussions regarding the aquifer and the management of water in East Central Illinois. Brad Yukin will speak, who has been head of the committee, the local committee, to do this study, as well as personnel from the State Water Survey and the Department of Natural Resources. There will be an opportunity for questions, so if people have concerns or questions that they would like to raise, this would be a good meeting for them to attend. Next Wednesday, September the 30th at 7 o'clock.
Mr. Kurtz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to discuss just for a few moments the developmental services centers. Their mission is to enhance the lives of individuals with disabilities by providing services and supports which enable them to live and work and learn and participate in these communities. This past Monday, I was escorted by Dale Morrissey, the head of DSC, through some of the DSC facilities. I visited a group home, and I was impressed with how DSC provides for disabled residents who can't provide for themselves. We then visited the DSC Distribution Center. I was overwhelmed by the vast array of work performed by both the mentally and physically challenged. I met some of the workers and was emotionally moved by the pride they had in their eyes at being productive citizens and not a burden on society. One young lady rushed up to me to show me her work packaging some craft foods. It was an amazing and emotional experience. Some of the accomplishments of the DSC are vast and varied. They employ over 110 individuals with disabilities who work every single day at DSC. They collectively earned nearly $500,000 last year, becoming taxpayers on our rolls. The DSC also is the largest craft foods distributor and a packager of over tens of thousands of packages per week by the mentally disabled and physically disabled. They also have automatic mailing services that include inkjet printing, mailing all hunting, boating permits applied for the grant by Springfield, Illinois, Champaign County tax bills, sanitary statements, informational packets for local businesses, marketing and promotional pieces, and processes over 50,000 pieces of mail weekly. They're also partnered with the AFSI to complete assembly for filters for Caterpillar at the rate of 50,000 per week. They're also partnered with many local businesses. They perform a vast array of services for those less fortunate, like those with blindness, mental retardation, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, autism, and other disabling conditions. It was an extraordinary experience to meet with them, talk with them, and learn from them. I believe every lawmaker in the state of Illinois who feels they should cut funding for the essential services needed to our social services facilities should tour these facilities on their own, visit and see the productive work that they do. The accomplishments and the productive lives they lead, and the accomplishments of those less blessed than each of us was extraordinary. And I think each and every one of you should take a tour through the DSC facilities to see the good works of where our money goes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Kurtz. Further announcements? Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items which you wish to take off the consent agenda at this time? Mr. Beckett?
I move the consent agenda.
Moved by Mr. Beckett, second by Mr. Betts. Roll call.
Jay?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Knott?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Langenheim?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Mosier?
Yes.
Nudo?
Yes.
O'Connor?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
Rosales?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Smucker?
Yes.
Yes.
Wysocki? Ammons?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Beckett?
Yes.
Betts?
Yes?
Carter?
Yes.
Cowart?
Yes.
Dennett?
Yes.
Gladney?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Weibel?
Yes, motion carries. Committee reports, Justice and Social Services.
Justice items are on consent.
Thank you, Mr. Gladney. County Facilities, Mr. Beckett.
Facilities recommends adoption of Resolution Number 7110, authorizing and continuing participation in the Champaign County Chamber of Commerce Energy Cooperative and authorizing the county administrator to execute agreements required for participation, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. J. Discussion. Mr. Beckett.
This actually passed unanimously at committee, but we decided that we wanted to put it on the regular agenda to call the public's attention to the fact that we have saved over 25% in utility costs by our participation in this energy cooperative, and that we have determined that to recommend to the board that we move forward in this cooperative effort.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Policy Personnel Appointments, Mr. Betts.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be making this motion because it came out of committee, and then there will be a substitute by Ms. Wysocki. I move adoption of Resolution Number 7111 to retain jurisdiction on properties subject to the municipal annexation agreements. Moved.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. McGinty. Ms. Wysocki.
I would like to substitute the blue sheet that you find at your desk, which is essentially the same motion, but it is there are some small wording changes that have been proposed by the municipalities who had an opportunity to review this and felt that the language in this version is a little less ambiguous and perhaps more comfortable for all of us to deal with. And I would so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Betts. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Nothing further from...
We have something on the addendum.
I'm sorry, you just put the substitute motion in.
I'm
You
sorry.
didn't approve the motion.
I'm sorry, you're right. That was the motion. Thank you, Mr. Beckett. So now back to the main motion, which is now we're voting on the substitute motion, the blue one. Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion still carries. Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Mr. Betts, there's one item on the, one of the addendums.
I can move that if you're talking about 7137.
7136.
6. Okay, let me get to 3. Okay, I move adoption of resolution number 7136, approving employee insurance benefits for fiscal year 2010. So moved.
Second.
Second by Mr. James. Discussion. Ms. Busey, would you briefly highlight this?
Sure. This is the health insurance recommendation for, and other insurance benefits for employees for fiscal year 2010. And this comes to you this evening. It typically would have gone to policy first. It's coming directly to the board because we were still waiting for information from the health insurance providers at the time that policy met. That information was finalized last week. And effectively, this reflects a change, but we think it's a positive change. Health Alliance Medical Plans now covers all Christie Clinic doctors and covers all Provena medical facilities. So this is a recommendation that Health Alliance be the health insurance provider for all county employees for fiscal year 2010. The premium increase was only 5%, which is really good, and in fact, for those employees who were previously on personal care, this is a premium decrease. So the county would be paying, based on current contract language in most of the bargaining contracts, and based on how health insurance has been provided for non-bargaining employees for the past several years, the recommendation is that the county would pay the premium, the single premium for the 80/20 plan, which is being offered. And again, that's a 5% increase over what the county paid this fiscal year. We had anticipated earlier in the budget process that it would be a higher increase than that, which is $521 a month per employee. Also offering the high deductible health plan, where if the employee selects that option, the county makes a contribution to a health reimbursement account to offset the deductible expenses that the employee incurs with that type of plan. And then the rest of the benefits remain substantially the same as they are now in terms of life insurance, dental insurance, and optional insurance programs.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Betts. Finance, Mr. McGinty.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to defer to Mr. Rosales, who led the meeting 2 weeks ago.
Mr. Rosales.
The Finance Committee moves to adopt Resolution 7112, purchase not following purchasing policy.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kurtz. I might add that Mr. Fabry is sick, and he informed me there were no additional items to be added to that list. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
The Finance Committee also moves to adopt Resolution number 7113, payment of claims authorization.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ammons. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Rosales. Environment and Land Use, Ms. Wysocki.
ELUC has nothing required for board action tonight.
Thank you. Let's go on to other business. There's another addendum. Would somebody be willing to move that particular
Move
item?
adoption of 7137, approving Head Start collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
Second by Mr. Beckett. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Seek approval of the August 20th, 2009 closed session minutes.
So moved.
Sir, go ahead.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Beckett, second by
Second.
Mr. Rosales. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Semi-annual review of closed session minutes. Mr. Anything about that? Pardon? Keep them closed.
I move that we keep them closed.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mosier. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We're in recess.